Tom, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I want to talk a little bit about what Judicial Watch has uncovered, which is typically what we talk to you about. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, the Attorney General's hearing yesterday, Bill Barr, and what he had to say. We are expecting the Mueller report within the week, he says. But of interest to me, and I think to you as well, is the finding that the Inspector General report on how the whole FISA process happens and how the investigation started. We're getting two investigations from Barr. One is the IG one, which will come out in May or June, he said. The other is he apparently has assembled a small team of his own to investigate the beginnings of the Trump-Russia collusion investigation. Does any of this give you hope?
It gives me slight hope. The IG report is way overdue. In my experience, IG reports, Inspector General's reports, are usually exposés and cover-ups at the same time. So there will be some important facts and maybe some referrals that arise out of the IG report, but I don't think it will be as direct as those of us concerned about the coup, as I like to call it, would expect or hope for. It's important that the Attorney General do his own investigation or prosecution because I think the idea that you will rely on an inspector general do the work of oversight in the Justice Department or right in the agency is kind of backwards. If you're a cabinet official, that ought to be your number one job, making sure your agencies run well and in compliance with the law. And the idea that you outsource it to an IG usually doesn't just results in what we typically get is bureaucracies telling you about themselves, and that usually doesn't work out well.
Will Barr have the opportunity to go through not only obviously the IG report, but what about all of the documents behind it, and then use that maybe to start a different investigation if he sees something in it that he doesn't like or finds questionable?
Look, they need to look at the underlying evidence, but the question is, are they going to launch a criminal investigation and do a serious investigation of really in-your-face, seemingly criminal acts like Peter Strzok, people like that using their offices to pursue people they didn't like politically, namely President Trump? Let's just cut to the chase here. I'm tired of investigations about whether to investigate.
Right.
Is he going to assign it to a U.S. attorney to figure out if any charges need to be brought?
Do you like Bill Barr? Do you trust him yet or no?
He seems like someone who needs to be taken seriously. I just hope he isn't frankly, the typical Republican conservative lawyer who is, going to be very cautious and careful.
Yeah.
And usually that means not doing what the American people expect and want and not upholding the rule of law within the agency. Is he going to flip over tables in the Justice Department and start prosecuting people like Peter Strzok? And holding the FBI to account specifically, well, that remains to be seen.
Yes,
but I think it would be. I think I'm hopeful, but we're going to keep on doing our own work in the meantime to get the word out.
While there's been dissatisfying efforts in the government's sector, for you, Judicial Watch, you've been investigating whatever you feel like. You've been suing the government, going after all sorts of things, and now you've uncovered a, quote, cover-up. What is this cover-up that you've pulled out of the government?
Well, we received the FBI part we've been suing for over the last 2 years or so, the investigative file of the Clinton email sham investigation. And so this is FBI documents and evidence they gathered, including the FBI notes of an interview with one of Hillary Clinton's vendors, this Platte River Networks. Those of you who've been following this story know that was the vendor who deleted Hillary's records on her behalf. At the direction of her lawyers, seemingly, and they talk about and the FBI notes talk about a cover-up ticket they were using. So they literally were calling it a cover-up in internal Platte River Networks materials. That to me is a pretty strong evidence of a cover-up when they've got the the project called Clinton email cover-up. It's just incredible.
It was a little on the nose to name it the Clinton Project cover-up.
And that's a pretty good indication that there was.
No, that's a code name for a different project.
Right. No, and they're pretending it was some sort of maintenance procedure. And then, of course, they downloaded the Bleach Bit, which is a program that allows you to wipe with a cloth. And that occurred just a few weeks after it was uncovered that she had this system. And on top of that, you had the Intel officials having a collective heart attack when they looked at our system. They found hundreds of classified emails, and at one point they thought maybe the whole system should be classified because of the mosaic. One email can lead to the other and such. I tell you, this at the same time, while they were going full bore against President Trump, they were ignoring this in-your-face evidence of criminal activity by Clinton and her colleagues and her gang. It's just incredible to me, and it shows you that AG Barr should do more than just look at the FISA and the Trump investigation, but the Clinton investigation as well.
Brian Pagliano would have been very involved in this, and I want to talk to you about some of the pardons that were handed out already and how that would affect any kind of investigation down the road.
Thank you.
7:43 on WMAL.
105.9 FM and AM 630.
It's a real pleasure to talk to you, but I have to disagree with you.
WMAL.
Are you kidding me?
Where Washington comes to talk.
7:47 on Mornings on the Mall. In studio with us, Tom Fitton, the president of Judicial Watch, discussing the latest email documents of the Clinton emails that Judicial Watch obtained through a FOIA request, including one that is labeled Cover Up Clinton Operation Work Ticket. So,
We found it.
Clinton cover up, there it is,
Oh,
right
man.
there. It was so hard, though, for them to find that, James Comey. They couldn't find that email. We got everything. Talking about some of the people involved in this, Brian Pagliano, one of them who would know the most about the setup of this private server, he was given a pardon, and yet he still refused to testify in front of Congress. He just kept either not showing up or taking the fifth. What if Attorney General Barr goes into this and decides that I'm going to investigate this? What about all the people who were given pardons?
Immunity.
Oh, excuse me, immunity last time around. What happens?
Well, immunity isn't a suicide pact. It doesn't prevent you from potentially being prosecuted. It may make it more difficult if they need to use information from the testimony you gave under immunity to prosecute you. The defense lawyers would raise heckles about that, but that won't necessarily prevent any prosecution. I mean, the big issue here is, and you kind of see this in the documents, that they were really in cover-up mode for Hillary Clinton at the State Department, where they were underclassifying information. And then once it got out, you had the Department of Justice deferring to the Clinton lawyers and allowing them essentially to run the show. You have to recognize, though, that this is, as I talked earlier about this with the last segment, the intelligence community recognizing there was a major issue here. This was such a cover-up. It wasn't just her Platte River networks doing the cover-up. It's an Obama scandal. It's a Clinton scandal. It's an FBI scandal. It's a DOJ scandal. It's a State Department scandal. It's an intelligence community scandal. That's why Hillary Clinton, in large measure, hasn't been prosecuted, because you have all these. Hillary Clinton goes on the stand and says, well, what are you doing prosecuting me for using this system? I was communicating with Barack Obama, my defense witness number one. That's where I'm sure Attorney General Barr will get very nervous, and I just hope he has the backbone to finally confront this. I mean, the real concern is it's been 2 years of a new Justice Department, and they've been silent as to what the last Justice Department did. Do they ratify and endorse the conclusions by Lynch and the corrupt Comey that Hillary Clinton did nothing worth prosecuting?
You mentioned Obama. It's amazing to me, even since the inception of the Hillary Clinton email investigation, how little the former president's name is invoked in all of this. Didn't he say to the public that he learned about her server in the news with everyone else? Just like everybody else. I learned about it when I saw it on the news. Well, that wasn't true. You were emailing her. There are emails that we to this day have not seen.
That's right.
Between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama on her server. You knew she had her own custom email address.
Well, we're taking testimony and getting evidence in another case on the Clinton emails. We got people coming in and testifying under oath. They're giving us sworn answers, and the FBI told us that they found Clinton emails in the White House. They told us where they went to look for the emails. And look, wait, the Clinton emails that we were all worried about what happened to them, some of them were in the Obama White House. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Just very quickly, in 30 seconds, why would Attorney General Barr be afraid of invoking the name of Barack Obama involved in this?
Well, I don't think he's afraid. I just think I don't know if he's afraid or not.
Yeah.
That's the question. And I
It's
don't
an
think,
unknown.
yeah, and you can guess, and it's easy to see why a Justice Department doesn't want to bring in former presidents into a criminal prosecution.
I love, though, that there are people out there like, oh, don't reopen that wound. Everything's so partisan. Let's just get past all that stuff. No, that's not how justice works.
I think Hillary Clinton still wants to run for president. I think it's very interesting to know
Yeah.
what she did, and
so,
plus,
so we owe it to her to clean all this up, don't
well,
we?
and the Russia investigation is as a result of Hillary
Yeah.
Clinton's activities into running the Justice
And
Department.
you've been saying that for years, and only a few people have finally come around to it now. Man, unbelievable. Tom Fitton, thank you.